This is my cat house. You can buy them for about $600. I had to modify mine for the winter so my cats would be warm. I got some plastic sheeting. That's what it said on the package. It's like a sheeting, but I can't see in. So since I didn't have what they needed, which is clear so I could see in. I couldn't find it at Lowe's. I had to use Ziploc bags, which I trimmed down the side and then taped together. Stapled it on there. Keeps the rain out. I put a light in there that I can technically press on the center of it and light it up. But I have a remote for that, which does work. Even though I have it zip tied and I can't actually press on it, it does work. I have cinder blocks on the outside that actually sit on this board here, which didn't come with it, but it keeps the walls from bowing outward. I have that. It's screwed in about 4 places. And I have the cinder blocks resting on that, so that way the wind can't take it. I still need to get paracord. Dad recommends paracord, although I'd prefer about maybe 1/2 inch rope. I want to wrap it like a present. I want to go around it and then around it this way from front to back around the short side. And I want to secure it to the building, as well as going up and over to the same on the other side. So I have 3 on this side and I've got 3 on this side. I plan on doing 1 in the back. I'm going to go up over the top and down to the other side on the front. But everything is stapled. It's stapled on there. So they should not get any wind, although I am going to leave some screen open. I am going to leave probably a small section open on the front and back, just a small one. I still have to figure out what I want to do for this, because I have to be able to lift this door, and I do want to put a actual handle, one of the C type handles right here, so I can lift it, because when this gets wet, it doesn't want to lift. It tends to get stuck. So, and I have cats that, I have 4 in here. It came with about 4 of these slide locks, but I have 1 on the inside of this and I have 1 on this side, because when I'm in there, I don't want them pushing the door open, because I have cats that will do that. But I also had cats, I scared one of my cats and he took off to the door and he actually pushed this door out. So I had to put a brick in front of it. Well, I had one of my other cats would pull on this door into the enclosure and get out. So I had to put a slide lock here. I'm going to go in. I have the regular slide lock here. But then he was still getting out. So I realized that he was actually pushing this part of the door out. And he was getting out of the enclosure. This one up here, I have an eye hook to open the door. I've had that since we set it up. I actually didn't install that. My brother did. So that way I have something to open it. I want to get like a knob or a C, like an actual like dresser drawer kind of a, you know, handle. So that way I can open that. And you can see right there where it scrapes. I've tried like 3 or 4 times to actually get it lined up, but I couldn't get it lined up right, even though I have technically moved this slide lock probably 4 or 5 times since May when we installed it. So we're gonna go in the house. This is their house. I've got to lock this back up. I've actually got to pull on the door itself. That's why I want to get a handle right there, so that way I can actually pull the door shut. I kind of want to put it about right here, about halfway up the door. About 3/4 of the way up the door. I set their food right inside the thing. Although now that I actually have the plastic on it, I won't have to take their food and I won't have to sit it further inside. So that way it stays dry. Because when it rains, it always rained in. And there was nowhere to get out of the rain except in this box. Now, I have gotten a 40-gallon tote. And I have put, I put a hole in the side. So that way they had a place to get out of the wind. Because they were on the porch. And I have straw in there as well as a bed. This is a 40-gallon tote. I got it at Rural King. My dad actually bought this. It actually has a plastic piece that actually Velcros to that on the inside of the door. So that way when they go in, the door swings in. It's actually a heated mat right here. During the summer, it was out here, so it was getting wet. The cord was tested to make sure that it doesn't have that it's still safe, that if I plug it in, it's not going to short or catch F-I-R-E. I don't want to say that word. I don't want to jinx myself. My dad brought home these lovely planks. I don't particularly care for them because when water gets underneath those short pieces, it actually, it doesn't dry. And I've actually found a couple creatures. It looked like a worm, but it didn't have the skin of a worm. It looked almost like a baby snake, but I don't know. I was like, I can't have that out here. I have that out here for them. The texture allows them to scratch, and then they've got that they can sleep in. I got that for about $40 at PetSmart. I have got a $25 cat tree that's all that's left. They've actually they actually tore a hole in the side and then around to the corner. So it's the Leaning Tower of Cat House. There's Simba. It's this is the cat tower and all that's left. It was $25. It looked like it was made from IKEA because it was not straight or level in any way, but it was $25 and it's lasted about a year, over a year. I have catnip rollers. I had 3 of them plus a sugar lick kind of thing for them, but the sugar lick only lasted 2 weeks because with 4 cats it's gonna go. I have another one over here on this side, so that way they can get up on here and they can rub all over that. And then that's a disaster. I don't even want to go there. I leave this in here for them. They often lose the ball, but they have something that they can play with. I'm actually hoping that the floor will dry out because it still gets wet, because when the water lands on this court here, water still comes in underneath. So next year, my plan is to get plywood. I'll probably have to do 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll do 4x4s underneath of it, so it'll go around the edges of the enclosure. So the sides will still be vertical. It'll still go straight down. It's not going to go down and then out at an angle. Another addition that I just put in today, I installed this heat lamp, which the heat actually only comes down to about maybe right here, and that's maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet maybe. But when it's 40 degrees, it will be at least some heat source. And I have it zip tied to the top. I've got it zip tied up there, and then I've got it zip tied over here. I've got it plugged in. And then I had to, unfortunately, leave some of it open right here. I don't want to leave it open like that because my other indoor cats have a tendency to chew cords. I don't know if any of your cats, or if you know anyone that has cats that chews cords, headphones, charging cables, any of that. I don't want that to happen, but I mean, they're cats. It's inevitable. It may happen. So I will have to check every few days to make sure that the cords are still good, that they're not ripped open, because I'll have to put electrical tape on it, and it's just it's gonna be a pain. In the summer, after I do the floor, I still want to put something over top of it, like a paint that I know is gonna, like, if it gets wet, it's like waterproof. But at the same time, in case they pee or poop on it because their litter box is full and I haven't gotten to it yet that morning and I did it the night before and it happens to be full, or they just don't want to pee in it because they think it's too full, that way I can, that way if it gets on the floor, I can clean it up. I kind of want to do carpet, but a type of carpet that's really coarse, and if it's scratched, it's not going to like tear and like it's not going to look nasty, and you know what I mean, but it's probably going to, because if the cats are having accidents outside the litter box, then it's going to look nasty. The only thing I still have to do or want to do this winter to winterize is I want to maybe add a second one of those, maybe over here towards the front, because I have 1, 2, and I have room for 3 of them, but right now I only have the 1. It's actually not that hot, and it's actually been on for, a few hours. I got the light bulb itself for about $6, and I got this for about 12. But the unfortunate thing is that I'm not going to have a cord big enough to plug in a second one. We have one plugged into that house, little cat house right over there, because we have another cat that sleeps in there. It's got a heat lamp in it as well. I'm going to have to find a way to put like a 3-prong something over here, so that way I can plug in 2 additional ones if need be, because the heat really doesn't radiate off of that. If you know of any that definitely radiate off of that definitely give off a lot of heat, but won't catch anything like this on fire. As far as I know, this up here, this tarp up here, as far as I know, is waterproof because it is brand new. I bought it within the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it's still waterproof, although there are some spots over here, as you can see, where I've stapled it to it, but I had to undo the staples. That's about it. And occasionally I have the eyelets that aren't covered. So the eyelets aren't covered. I know I've had to come in here and re-staple some of these because these staples were not already present, but yet these little staples were. So occasionally these will come off, and they're sharp, because I do have one cat that will jump clear up here, and I am just tall enough to clear this door, so I don't have to duck when I come in. But I have a cat that will jump clear up to here, and I was thinking in the summertime putting like Velcro, like a Velcro strip, like the soft part of the Velcro or even the tough part of the Velcro right here on the outside, and then making this part of it to where I could like lift it up on the outside to where they'll have like maybe this much of a window from like here to here, so that way air can flow in. And I was gonna put clear on the back of it, excuse me, and then do the same thing with this big window back here. I was gonna lift this cat shelf up and make that window so that way they can see out. And I can also lower that window back down if it starts to rain. And if I have that deck type of, like it's lifted up off the ground a little bit, hopefully it should waterproof it, so that way water can't just run in from underneath the ground. I may also chip out some pieces of the 4x4 on the sides and in the back, front and back, kind of like this is, so that way water can run underneath of it or get underneath of it, or it's, that way it's, and I may try to find some kind of handle or some way to put handles on like the outside of the thing where I've got the 2x4 or the 4x4, so that way I can actually so that way if I had to move it I could lift it. But that is pretty much it when it comes to this cat house. I got it in May. I didn't have the finances to really do too many modifications I did the best to make sure that they had a dry place to lay, a warm place to lay. I did my best to make sure that they had fresh cat water or fresh water, ice water in the summertime. When they were on the porch, I put warm water in their bowl when it was frozen solid. It's going to be a little more difficult this time around. I tried, and they've got fresh food. I give them a brand new bowl of food every morning. They get their food brought out every morning. It gets taken in at dark, so that way we don't have coons tearing at the screen. I may also put on the outside of this, as you can see, the screen is on the inside. On the outside of the screen, or on the outside of this, where the plastic is actually stapled, I may put screen that's on like the porch. I may put regular like screen on the outside of that and then put the plastic over it. And the reason why is because this kitty right here happened to decide last year that he wanted to eat a bee, and his face was, side of his gums were swollen, and he was drooling, and for like a week he was on Benadryl to get rid of the swelling, and he was on pain medication, and I had to rush him to the vet. So I don't want to have to do that. So any part of the enclosure that is going to be open for like air to flow through, they are going to have a screen onto it, so that way they don't end up getting bit by the bee. Charlotte, you need to stay away from it. Mommy's got to clean that. You need to stay away from it. Sister's got to do your litter, I know. But these are the modifications that I want to make. This is the cat house as is. And know that cat door back there. Yes, it's the same one as the one over here by the food. And no, I don't open that for them to get out. They do run around outside. I do let them run around and play. And yes, they do know how to walk on a leash. I have put a harness on them. So I've got to end this, and I will, when I make other modifications, I will make a new video. I have no idea what she's doing, but she's trying to paw at the door. Their cat litter needs cleaned, so I've got to get in there and get that cleaned out before one of them has another accident. All right, bye.